Hello and welcome back once again to product placement. So in case you can't tell by all the decorations, we are once again in the spooky season. We are coming up on Halloween and it is time to do our Halloween videos for 2025. Now, as you may notice, I'm not dressed up this year. I did have a new costume planned. Unfortunately, I needed a couple things for it and time got a little bit tight because I was still a little bit behind on editing September's videos, which ate a little ways into October. And I was more focused on getting that done than going to the store and getting the stuff I needed. So I ended up running out of time and I didn't get to dress up this year, but I was able to set up the set. I'm back in my black shirt so we can go forward with our Halloween themed items. Now, I had originally planned on doing more items this year. There are 5 weeks in October leading up to Halloween, so my plan was to do one item each week. Fortunately, I couldn't find enough items to fill out all the weeks. So rather than falling behind on editing again, trying to find an item or forcing an item that doesn't really fit, I decided that I would just take the items I had and make them work. And that's what we're going to be doing over the next couple videos. So first things first, we need to adjust our set here because even though I like the spooky aesthetic, filming under these lights isn't visually the best for you being able to see the product or even me being able to see the product for that matter. So we're going to adjust our set slightly, go back to a more normal setting. Then we'll continue on with introducing the product and tasting the product. So first things first, let's go back to normal. And that takes care of our lighting. Now we can just move this stuff off screen here. I don't have my magic wand this year to wave it and pretend that it disappears, so we're just going to do it the old-fashioned way. All right, so with that stuff out of the way, now it's time to introduce our products for this year. I was only able to find 3 products. Like I said, I was looking for 5. There was one other potential item I was thinking about getting, but I couldn't find a 5th item to wrap out the month, so I ended up putting that one on hold. It'll probably be around next year, so if I can't find anything to do next year, that'll be next year's product. But this year, we're going to go on with what we got. So as I said, I was able to find 3 products. 2 of them are related to each other, so I was debating, do I want to do them as separate videos or do them as one video? Ultimately, it came down to, you should be seeing this on October 30th, the night before Halloween, Devil's Night. So we're going to be doing the 2 related products tonight, and then tomorrow tune back in for our Halloween special, which will be the other product that I found this year. So what is this first product? Well, it's become a yearly tradition that our friends over at Mountain Dew release a Halloween themed flavor. It used to be called Voodoo, but apparently they have decided to stop doing Voodoo now and just putting out whatever candy flavor they want to put out. And this year's candy flavor, so we don't have to take any guessing games at it, is Trolli Flavored Mountain Dew. So what is Trolli? Trolli is a brand of gummy worms, and Mountain Dew has put out a new flavor that's supposed to taste like gummy worms, I guess. Now, as far as the actual flavors, it does say that it is cherry and lemon flavored. It also says that this is specifically a zero sugar Mountain Dew, so this is only available in zero sugar, unlike some of the other ones where I thought they were only available in zero sugar and then later found them in full sugar. This one specifically was only released in zero sugar. So, as I said, it does say cherry and lemon flavor. So that is leading me to think it's probably going to be something similar to the Mountain Dew Game Fuel that comes out each year, along with whatever its new corresponding flavor is going to be, which is citrus cherry, which they also did release briefly on its own outside of the Mountain Dew Game Fuel labeling. It was just Mountain Dew Citrus Cherry. So I have a feeling this is probably going to be something similar to citrus cherry, but hopefully they did enough with it that it actually tastes more like gummy worms than just being a rehash of citrus cherry. Now, as I said, this is a 2-part product. Since Mountain Dew is tying in with Trolli this year, Trolli has also tied in with Mountain Dew, which is our second product, which is Mountain Dew flavored Trollis. Now, this does say sour bright crawlers, so these are going to be more like Sour Patch Kids than regular gummy worms, and it does not say specifically what flavor they're going to be, so obviously gummy worms are usually a variety of flavors. So why did Mountain Dew choose to only go with cherry and lemon? Maybe because they already had a formula for citrus cherry, but who knows? Honestly, the last couple years of Voodoo have sort of tasted the same because they've all been cherry-based products. So this is probably just going to be one of the last couple that was out just without the Voodoo label because they're like, well, people would say that we just redid the same one. All right, so what way are we going to do these? I was going to do the gummy worms first and then wash them down with the Mountain Dew. However, since these are sour, I don't want that sour to linger on my tongue and disrupt the natural flavor that I would get out of the Mountain Dew. So we're actually going to do the Mountain Dew first and then the Trollis. So we're going to set our Trollis aside for now and we are going to crack on with our Mountain Dew. So let's go ahead and open this up. Our lid is off. This has been in my fridge for probably 2 weeks now, so it might have lost a little bit of carbonation. I'm hoping not. It actually came out towards mid-September, and I waited till closer to the end of September because I want to finish up on September's editing. But the way things come and go out of the stores, I was worried I was going to miss it if I waited too long, so I bought it ahead of time. But it has been sitting for a little bit, hasn't been moved around, hasn't been shaken up or anything. So hopefully it still tastes like it would normally, but it has been sitting in my fridge for a couple weeks. But anyway, We got our lid off. As you can see, there wasn't a lot of fizz there when I opened it. That's the only reason I gave that preamble. But let's move forward with our smell test and see if it smells like gummy worms. I am already getting a little bit of a cherry kind of scent coming up. That artificial cherry more than natural cherry, so it's more like a pomegranate kind of smell or like a grenadine. But let's go ahead and give it a proper smell and see if it smells like a gummy worm. Here we go. Honestly, smells like citrus cherry. You obviously get the cherry scent, and then you immediately get like a citrusy kind of smell. I almost want to say more towards the side of orange than the side of lemon, even though it does say cherry lemon. So again, most likely this is probably just going to be citrus cherry or a rehash of one of the last couple voodoos. But only one way to find out, and that's to take a drink. So here we go. Cheers. Okay, so it is reminiscent of citrus cherry, but not exactly. It has a little bit more of a bubblegummy, almost tutti fruity kind of flavor at the end, which does remind me of one of the voodoos, and surprisingly does actually give it a little bit of a flavor of a gummy worm. It does have a little odd taste to it as well, which could actually just be citric acid, which is what they use on the gummy worms and Sour Patch Kids to make them sour. They coat them in a powdered citric acid. So it could have added a little bit of citric acid to this to give it the citrusy taste, but I think it's more that this is specifically a zero sugar, because zero sugar always gives that slight bite like diet sodas have versus regular sodas. If you drink a regular Coke and then you drink a Diet Coke, there's that sudden shock of, oh, that's different. And that's what the zero sugar sodas kind of give me as well. I normally don't like diet or zero sugar Mountain Dews in general. Diet Mountain Dew is one of the worst things I've ever tasted in my life, but zero sugar is not quite as bad, but it's still one of those things I kind of shy away from. But here, mixed with the other flavors, it kind of works. I think that little aspartame bite that you get from the zero sugars or the diets is mixing well with the cherry and lemon flavor or tutti frutti flavor that's in this to make it taste almost like a Sour Patch Kid without being overly sour. I think they kind of learned from, what was it, Spark or whatever it was that was like bitterly sour, where it was just like, I can't drink that at all. It's too sour. This, it's like, oh, we just want a little bite of something that makes it taste like a Sour Patch without actually being sour. So they might sprinkle a little bit of citric acid in there, but overall, I think it's just that aspartame bite that you get from diets or zero sugars that is mixing well with the cherry and other fruit flavors to make it taste slightly sour without actually being sour, if that makes sense. I would almost be interested in trying this if it wasn't zero sugar, because I think it would definitely taste more like a gummy worm, because the residual flavors I'm getting behind that zero sugar flavor, I'm thinking, yeah, that does actually sort of remind me of a gummy worm, but at the same time, that zero sugar flavor kind of overrides it and I lose it really quickly. So I almost feel that it would be better if it was full sugar, but maybe they were worried that it would be too sweet if it was full sugar. But I would definitely be interested in trying it either way, because it really does have the initial flavor of a gummy worm. It's just kind of overridden by that citric acidy or zero sugary aspartame kind of taste. Do I like it? Yes. Will I finish it? Yes. Would I buy it again next year? If it came out in full sugar, yes. But if it remains zero sugar, no. I've tried it the one time. I'll finish it, but would I seek it out again? No. Would I have known what this was in Voodoo if I had tasted it? Possibly. Like I said, I do get a very faint reminiscent flavor of gummy worm, but that overriding flavor might have put me off of it a little bit to where I wouldn't have quite been able to guess it. I would have known it was a familiar flavor. I just don't know if I would have actually got to gummy worm, or specifically the Trolli brand. So that's pretty much all I got to say about the Trolli flavored Mountain Dew. So now let's see what we think about the Mountain Dew flavored Trolli. So I've never officially had Trolli flavored gummy worms before. I know a lot of kids rave about them, but me personally, I haven't tried this specific brand. So this is a first time for me. So let's go ahead and rip these open, pop our pouch open, immediately getting a scent here, kind of reminiscent of gummy worms, but there's something else in there as well. Let's stick our nose in the bag and see if we can distinguish what that scent might be. Here we go. Yeah, definitely reminiscent of gummy worms, but there's something else there too. Can't quite put my finger on it. So looking at the back here, it says Trolli with Mountain Dew, and it does have 3 different flavors here, which I didn't notice before. The first one, the red one, is said to be original citrus cherry. The green one is original citrus, so that would be regular Mountain Dew flavor. And then the blue one says original citrus blue raspberry. So our red one is going to be the one that tastes like the drink, and then we got 2 other flavors in there as well. Why Mountain Dew didn't do a triple run, or at least a double run like they do with Game Fuels, and they could have did like the citrus blue raspberry as well, but they did just do all the rebranding with voltage, so they probably didn't want to confuse people on that one. And then the green one is supposed to be the original Mountain Dew flavor. So I guess the citrus cherry was the only one they could really do as the drink, where it wouldn't override with one of the existing ones like regular Mountain Dew or voltage, which also leads me to think that this is entirely based on citrus cherry again. All right, let's get one of our red ones out here. Since that's going to be the one that most closely resembles the soda, we're going to do this one first, then we'll try the others, which is going to make this video slightly longer because I didn't know we were doing 3 different flavors. I thought they were just going to be generic, but we learn something new every day. So here we go. Red one, let's give it the smell test and see if it smells like the drink. Honestly, I'm not getting any smell out of it directly compared to what I was out of the bag. So let's just pop it in our mouth and see if it tastes like the cherry lemon Mountain Dew. Cheers. Not really. Honestly, compared to most sour gummy worms that I've had, like Sour Patch Kids or anything, the sourness in this is actually kind of mellow. Like when I first started chewing it, I'm like, okay, there's obviously citric acid on here, but it's not really giving me a sour taste. And it wasn't until I finally got everything fully chewed up and incorporated that it was like, pop, here's your sour. And I was like, oh, okay, there it is. Does it remind me of what I was getting out of the zero sugar aspartame flavor of the soda? No. The citric acid is a lot more prominent in this, but I do think that's where Mountain Dew was going with the zero sugar, is to give it that slightly sour taste without actually being sour. But these are actually covered with citric acid, so they are sour. It just takes a minute for it to kick in. The cherry flavor is there, but it's almost lost once the sour kicks in. Like at first I was like, okay, this sort of tastes like cherry, but not really. It basically just tastes like any generic gummy worm. Not really getting much flavor out of it at all. The citric acid powder was there and kind of covering everything up and giving me this coating on my tongue. Then right when I was starting to get a little bit of flavor out of the chewed up gummy worm, that sour kick came in and kind of just wiped it out. So again, similar to the drink, but I got more of the cherry flavor out of the drink than I did out of the actual gummy worm. So now let me see if I can get a green one out here, and we're going to see if this one tastes like regular Mountain Dew. This does say original citrus, so it's probably going to taste similar to the red one, but where the red one had a little bit of a cherry flavor, this one's probably going to taste like nothing but citric acid. So let's give it a smell test first. Yeah, still nothing. Let's pop in our mouth and see what we think. Cheers. So I definitely got a little bit more of a lemon lime kind of flavor, mostly lime, before the citric acid took over and kind of wiped out the flavor. However, compared to the red one, the citric acid wasn't as strong. Like with the red one, once the citric acid kicked in, it was like, here's a punch of sourness. With this one, once I chewed it up, it's like, okay, the lemon lime flavor is kind of fading, but I didn't get a sudden pop of sour. Like honestly, I'm kind of getting the punch of sour now on the sides of my tongue from where I was chewing versus where it just kind of took over everything. So far of the two, the green ones are my favorite, but we still got one more try, and that's the blue one. So again, let's give it the smell test. Now that one I do get a little bit of a scent out of. It does have a slight hint of the blue raspberry, but it's not extremely strong. It's just like compared to the other two, there is a little bit of a scent to this one. Maybe that's the smell I was detecting when I smelled the whole package, because I said there was another scent there that I was familiar with but couldn't quite place. And I think it's because it's blue raspberry. I recognize it as blue raspberry, but because of how faint it is, I couldn't place it. So yeah, the overall bag has a slight blue raspberry smell. All right, let's pop this one in our mouth and see what we think. Cheers. All right, so very similar to the cherry one. When I'm first chewing it up, I'm not getting much of anything, not even getting much of the sour. Then once I'm starting to finally detect, oh, there is blue raspberry flavoring in here, I get a little bit of a punch of the sour. It's not quite as strong as it was with the red one, but it is stronger than it was with the green one. And it does kind of take over the blue raspberry flavoring to where I almost can't tell what it is. So between the two, the cherry has a more pronounced flavor, but a stronger sour kick. The blue raspberry has a distinct flavor, but not quite as strong of a sour kick. The green ones barely have a sour kick at all and have a nice mellow lime flavor. So as far as which one I like the best, I like cherry flavoring better, but the sourness kind of overrides it too much. So I'm going to say my top pick out of the 3 flavors would be the lime ones first, because I can enjoy the lime flavor without a lot of sourness to it. The sourness is really mellow and I actually get the flavor of what it's supposed to be. As far as second place, I'm going to say cherry, because although the sourness is a lot stronger on the cherry, overall I get more of a cherry flavor out of the red ones than I do blue raspberry flavor out of the blue ones. Even though the blue one's sourness is more mellow, the flavor just isn't that pronounced. It's more pronounced in the smell compared to the other 3 than it is in the actual flavor. So I would have to say blue raspberry would be third on my list. Even though I enjoy the less sourness of it, there's not enough flavor there to really punch it up. So my order of which ones I like would be green, red, blue. And that's pretty much all we got to say about those. Do I like them? Yes. I would prefer if they weren't sour to where I could actually enjoy the flavors more. I don't know if all Trollis are sour. I don't think they are. I think it was just these ones specifically and a few other flavors. They obviously do sour, but I think you can just get normal Trolli gummy worms that aren't sour, but I'm not positive on that because as I said, this is my first time ever trying this brand. I've seen it around, never cared enough to investigate it. Almost didn't get these at all. I was just going to do just the Mountain Dew, but when I was looking for more products to try for the month, I said, well, I can do this one as one video, this is another video. But then when I couldn't find enough items and I was trying to figure out how to restructure the month, I said, well, I can just do these two together and the other one and just have 2 videos at the end of the month for Halloween. And that's what we ended up doing. So I did end up getting these because I intended to get another video out of them, but because they're related, we got one video instead. And now I can say I have tried at least one flavor of Trolli. Will I ever buy them again? I don't know. Probably not. They seem kind of overpriced for just gummy worms compared to some of the other brands of generic gummy worms I can get that are a lot cheaper. Some of the other brands of gummy worms, if you eat too many of them, you can get very serious indigestion from them. So not sure if that's going to happen with these. I'm not going to eat this whole bag in one shot, obviously, because they're sour flavored. And that would definitely upset my stomach. But I will eventually finish this bag. It's not going to go to waste. But again, would I ever buy Trolli again? Probably not, because I think this bag was like $5 versus, was it Haribo? You can get for like $2.50. And if you go to the dollar store, you can probably get the generic ones for $1.25 at the most. So would I ever buy Trolli again? Probably not. But I was willing to try them this time just for the tie into Mountain Dew. And that's pretty much all I got to say about those. So that is going to wrap up this video. Again, as always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe to the video. Links are in the description. Ring the bell. Make sure you get notifications every time I post new content. We will see you back here again tomorrow for our Halloween special. But until then, thank you for watching. And as always, cheers.